Hello, Stanley. Thank you so much for being here today with us. Thank you for joining for this program. I'm Zvezdana, a student at the Faculty of Political Science at the University of Belgrade. And here with us, we have Stanley Nyoni. Please, can you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Thank you, Zvezdana. My name is Stanley. I am from Zimbabwe, was born and educated in Zimbabwe, and I moved to Sweden 20 years ago. I am married to my wife, who is the mother of my two kids as well. And what that has, so she is also a diplomat, so we tend to move a lot in different countries. And right now we are back in Sweden where we are based for now. Yeah.
Thank you so much
And
for that.
on background, I was trained as a civil engineer first, and then I have a master's in environment and sustainability. And then I've done other courses on coaching and leadership and development. So that's my background.
Thank you. I know that you have a really amazing story about self-awareness, your personal professional story. Can you maybe tell us now?
Yeah, so I can start by saying that 5-7 years ago, maybe we started a program. A friend of mine said, what do you think we can do in Mozambique? I was living in Mozambique at the time in Southern Africa. And I was in Mozambique thinking, what was I going to do professionally? Because I was there following my wife with her job. And so I started to talk to people, doing interviews to find out what was needed in the country for me to create something that I could do while I'm there. And it turned out that leadership was one of the major issues that was people felt was a competence that was missing. So we developed this program, which is about self-awareness, developing self-awareness for the participants, but it is also developing self-awareness for the trainers. Because we participate in our own training programs. We don't train other people, we participate and train together with the other people. And so we developed this concept, which is that if you look at the x-axis, it is developing self-awareness over time. On the y-axis is with self-awareness, you can develop trusting relationships. Inside, we had boxes. One box was developing self, which is all about self-awareness, developing inner courage, inner competencies for you to be able to be the leader that you can be. And then the second box was developing others. And then the third box was leading self and then leading others, which is more about how do you express your leadership out in the world. And so our program was really about how do you develop self-awareness? Yeah. We know that it is critical for leadership. And we know that it is missing in most places, in most leaders as well. So the first part of the program is really looking at how do you listen? So developing leaders listening competencies is very critical for self-awareness. So the first part of listening is listening to yourself. How do I embody and listen to what's going on for me based on what I hear and how I interact with other people? And all that, of course, is related to where you have been, how you have been in the past, and your intention of how you want to be in the future. So when you listen to yourself, you have to use all your senses, which is the whole body, listen to your mind. And also a big ingredient for that is really presence. How do you practice to be present in the moment? And so that was the first part of the program. And then the other part of listening was listening to others. So we developed that competence as well in ourselves as the trainers and in the participants that we are training with. And then the third component is listening to the system, which is what is it that is emerging out in the system that needs to be facilitated to happen. And that involves you going out and interacting with whatever the subject that you are looking to lead in. For me, for example, when I came to Mozambique, I wanted to do something meaningful for the country, but also meaningful for me in my development as a professional. So when I went to start talking to people, finding out what was needed, I found out that it was leadership training. I could have gone out and done sustainability. That would have been the easier thing for me because I know that I've done that before, but I had never done leadership training. But that was what was needed. So I went out and found a partner, and we started to promote the program, and it became very, very successful. Yeah. And so I think that what the participants told us as a feedback from the trainings was that they didn't expect to spend a lot of time dealing with personal development, self-awareness, listening, and also how you communicate. They thought they were coming to a leadership program where they will be told about all the leadership and management skills that they need to develop. But in our trainings, we really sit down and do reflective exercises. So it's not a lot of teaching. It's like, okay, what's the exercise that could show you who you are? And we find a lot of these exercises that they do. We do the needs and fears, we do the nonviolent communication, we do the theory, different levels of listening, and we do storytelling. And in those 3 days, people transform themselves, and we transform too as their facilitators for this space. So that is the story that I wanted to share.
I have a question, like what have been the challenges and obstacles in developing self-awareness and implementing? What did you see when you were training them?
The first part is that for me as a trainer, to what extent can I allow myself to be whole in front of the trainees that I'm training? In other words, can I be vulnerable and really be just Stanley in front of them, not a trainer? And I find that I was challenged by that, but my colleagues, the other trainers, were challenged by that too. We want to be trainers and want to be strong and be the ones competent in front of the participants. But what really connects them to us is our vulnerability and our ability to just let that professional shell go away so that we can all be just human beings interacting together. So that is one challenge. The other challenge is that to what extent do we actually dig deeper into the underlying causes of lack of self-awareness? Yeah, because people are not coming here for a therapeutic session, they are coming for a training. And the extent to which we can go deeper is based on my courage and also my capacity to hold the space that feels safe enough for them to actually feel that they can allow themselves to show themselves fully. And then, of course, in their interactions, some issues might arise that we need to deal with. There are issues that arise between the trainers, there are issues that arise between the participants, and all that needs to be dealt with love and care. And if we can't do that, then we are failing ourselves as trainers.
Thank you. And I have also one more question. What are the responses of the people when they becoming self-aware, and what do you see? Maybe how they are reacting to that?
In the beginning, it can be actually painful. You just realize, for example, I remember this lady who realized that she had not been listening to her children. And we're talking about older kids now. Some people were 20 something years old. And that's a painful thing to realize that I actually have been treating my kids as if they are not competent, they are not capable. Yeah. And now that I realize this, in the beginning, it feels painful, but when then you go home and you restore with your children, you tell them, this is what I've just discovered. And they probably give you a hug, everyone cries, and then you are back to starting to be building a relationship that's more trusting, more open, with everyone having the space to contribute to that relationship fully. Yeah. But our aim is really to make you feel, when you leave our training, feel empowered to take those steps. Yeah. Otherwise, if we leave you depressed because you just realize you're not a good listener, you depressed because you realize that you are such an angry person who is difficult to be with, it's not, then we haven't done a good job. We want you to feel empowered and really courageous to go and do something different in the world. Yeah. And that's very, very important.
Thank you so much for your story and all the answers. If people would remember only one key message from your story, what would you like it to be?
It would be that we need to take this first step ourselves. You know, we can't give what we don't have. So self-awareness is very, very important, regardless of what you do. Yeah.
And one last question. Do you have any practice you would recommend for developing and implementing self-awareness?
I think any contemplative practice that you can do would be great. You know, and my recommendation is actually to have a practice that you do every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Something that calms you down, settles you in, so you can actually have the confidence to go out in the world feeling connected to yourself, and then you will be connected to others. So in my case, I do meditation and I do yoga every morning. Meditation, I think, is key for me, at least. You know, so I would recommend finding a contemplative practice that you like to do, and do it every day. Regular is better than doing 24 hours one time and then doing nothing for the rest of the year, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much again for your inspiring story. We very much appreciate your contribution. Thank you for being us today. If you have any questions, you can always write us. And I hope to see you sometime soon.
Thank you.